So let's talk about how to not take things personally. This is a problem I see with a lot of people in today's age. The modern day man just takes things personally. And hey, it's normal. It's completely normal because when we constantly see bad things happen to us, we begin to assume that it's us that has the problem. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you practical tips for you to actually not take things personal anymore. And please, hopefully you find this helpful. So let's start. The first tip I'll say is we need to zoom out. When I say zoom out of any situation is when something that you think is bad happens to you, zoom out. Let's separate reality from the stories in your head or from your distorted image. Also, when we zoom out, it's easier for us to change perspectives. I'm coming somewhere because when you can change perspective, you'll be able to realize these three things. One, not everybody is like you. And if you consider yourself to be a good person, you might walk around thinking everybody is just as good as you. No. But also, the second part is sometimes when you zoom out, you get to realize that it is not about you, it's about the other person. Take for example, there was an experiment where they gave people a hot cup of coffee to hold in their arms for like a very short time. Now, when they held the coffee in their hand for that short time, what happened was when they took the coffee back from the people and they were asked to give a review on the product, they all gave negative reviews. So what does that mean? That sometimes when some rather most times when people give negative reviews or negative comments, it's most likely because they're in a negative state at that moment. And if you think about it, somebody who is in a happy, enlightened state will not go around giving negative reviews or negative comments, or will not intentionally want to put people down. That's why, if you get to notice, people do things that tell them more about themselves than you. So, and if you check this out mostly in your life, if you when you're going through something, maybe you're probably having a headache, you probably just either lost some money, lost a business deal, got rejected. If anybody else that you loved, that you really, really loved, had done something to you at that moment, you are going to react. So, a brief story, a very brief story. A friend of mine invited me out to the beach. I have never been there before. I was asked to meet up there. Like I had zero idea of how to get there. But I got to the beach, and then I was trying to contact the friend. The friend told me that the friend was like, oh, I'm currently far away from the entrance. My question was fine, no problems. Tell me where you are, so that I can come and meet you. Then all of a sudden, the person said, oh, I'm stressed. I do not know what to tell you. The first instinct was to react, saying that you can't bring me this far to an island and you're telling me you don't know what to tell me. Okay, so fine. The irony was I booked myself a spot. I sat down there and I was just making content. After all, I could tell that the person was in a very, very stressed state. So I calmed down, I kept my cool. And that's like a very good example. The third tip around this line is sometimes it may just be about you. So when I say it may be about you is when someone is giving a bad review and the person is in a very good state or sometimes a very bad state, there's also a high chance that there's something that you're doing that has some element of truth in it. And this is why I say if you can zoom out, you'll get to understand this thing powerfully. Now, fine. Imagine a lady who is a virgin, never been in contact with any man, and then somebody goes ahead to call her a hoe. Do you think she would ever take it serious? This may be a bad analogy given to this time, but you should get the point. So when somebody insults us or calls us names and then we react, it's because there is something inside of us that is causing us to react in that manner. That's why I tell people to check your insecurities. Check your insecurities carefully. Know your strength and weakness. Also, when someone gives you a negative review, ask yourself, is this true? If it's true, then you should consider working on something to fix it. And if it's not true, assume, then you would know that that person is not in the right state. Is not in the right state. And what else? So this whole idea, and if you also listen to this point I gave to you about zooming out, you'll get to realize that those 3 points about zooming out will get to teach you what to give an F about. And if you probably read Mark Manson's book about the subtle art of not giving an F, you get to realize that it's about knowing what you want to achieve, and knowing that by knowing what you want to achieve, some sacrifices have to be made. So in that sense, when you know your strengths and your weaknesses, and somebody comes to ride on your strength, you ask yourself, yes, I have. So somebody wants to come and somebody wants to come and say something negative about your weaknesses. You ask yourself, is this something I really want to work on? If it's not what you want to work on, maybe at that moment, then let it go. You know fully well that you did not react. You did not react to it. You did not let it put you down. And one other tip here is learn to respond instead of react. Because the person who reacts is somebody who is actually being controlled. If you actually read the books of the Stoics, then on the other hand, all of this zooming out can be done if you understand this concept of the pause. So when something negative happens to you, take a pause, even though it's 5 seconds. That is the only way you zoom out. Because without that pause, there is a high chance that you'll be reacting. And if you're reacting, there's also a high chance that you're being controlled by that person. So that's what I said. So for you to get better with that pause, because that pause would improve not just your response, it will improve your thinking skills. It will assist you in critical thinking. I think I made a video about critical thinking some while ago. You can check it out. It's going to boost your critical thinking. So, and one way that can help you do this is meditation and journaling. So when you begin to meditate, you become aware of your thoughts. Now, when you become aware of your thoughts, you get to realize that, okay, fine, this is my thoughts going. Let me intentionally separate the situation that thing that's supposed to trigger you or make you feel bad. Let me separate it from the truth. Let me separate it from my opinion, fiction. So, take for example, and sometimes, as the more you do this, the better I get at it. Also, it can also help you to reduce assumptions. Like I tell guys, that even your best pickup artist gets rejected by girls. The most attractive men still get rejected. Very attractive men get very high rejection from women. At the same time, a lot of attractive women don't even get approached in the first place. That's a very, very interesting dichotomy of life. Now, when you zoom out, a way of zooming out is actually telling you to pause. Meditation helps you to zoom out. And also the last tip is to become anti-fragile. I have made a video about this, about how to become anti-fragile. That is, go out there, put yourself out there. You're going to encounter situations that are supposed to put you down. But when because you're anti-fragile, These situations will make you better. These experiences will make you better when you begin to expose yourself to more people, to more opinions. You get to test out with these ideas. I can bet you that everything I said in this video would definitely change your life if you actually practice them. So thank you very much. In summary, for you to not take things personal, you need one to understand that most of the time people don't think like you. Most of the time the situation has to do with them. It says more about them than you. Then also still understand that sometimes it could be you, something you're doing wrong. Sometimes it could be your limits, your strength, and everything. Some things that you need to fix about yourself. Also, when you understand all this, you begin to have compassion on the other person, because if it's in the wrong state, you will know, and you begin to have compassion on yourself, knowing that you're not perfect. And the last point is you taking responsibility. So if it's a situation of you doing something that is wrong and you know that is wrong and you can fix, that is the first step to taking responsibility and then taking action. So if you are taking all of these steps, it will be very difficult to take this personal. Thank you very much. Kindly share my video with somebody who you know will benefit from it. At the same time, who you know could enjoy this movement of telling men to actually become responsible for themselves, knowing fully well that society is currently in a funny state, and it's only men that are responsible that can save it. So yeah, thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.